Right now, and Mayor Eric Adams painting a very bleak picture about the fiscal future of New York over the weekend, saying city agencies will have to cut as much as 15% of their budgets in order to cover the cost of the migrant crisis. Now, he spoke to me about it yesterday morning during an appearance right here on Picks on Politics. Listen.
I have to be honest with New Yorkers on what we're about to experience, a financial typhoon, a tsunami that I don't think this city has ever experienced. Number one, the economic challenges, $12 billion. Every service in this city is going to be impacted, from child service to our seniors to our housing plan. Everything will be impacted. And we have a fiscal cliff that's about to hit us on the federal government. Second, the migrants. This is wrong for the migrants. We're going to have to eventually move women and children into congregate settings.
Well, Mayor Adams says these cuts need to be put in place by November, when he submits his budget modifications in order to cover the $12 billion price of the migrant crisis. Public Advocate Jumaane Williams is joining us this morning with his reaction to the potential cuts. So good morning, Public Advocate. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning, and thanks for having me. And of course, just a moment remembering 9/11.
Yes, of course. And so before we talk about anything else, let's talk about 9/11. I think everyone remembers where they were on that fateful morning. What are your memories of that day and where you were?
Yeah, it was a tough morning. I was actually working on a local election when we started seeing a little bit of smoke and trying to figure out what's going on, and then heard that a plane went in and folks thought it was an accident. We still were doing our campaigning, and then a second one came in, and it started getting really, really strange. And I remember we couldn't reach my mom. Thank God she was safe, but it was just a very somber, scary moment. You know, the only, I guess, if you can say, silver lining I remember was the days after, the kind of unity that people had. And I think it's such a sad remembrance of seems that just that never happened. We're so far away from being where we were just a couple of days after that horrific day.
I mean, that's what everybody always talks about, right, Mr. Williams, about the unification of New York City and how everybody was helping everybody on the streets, regardless of their background and whatnot. I know you'll be heading down to the reflecting pools of the memorial later today. So I do want to talk about the other big news this morning as well, and that's, of course, what the mayor said over this weekend regarding the migrant crisis. You're talking about unity, right? And this is really a pivotal moment for New York City. The mayor now facing backlash over the comments he made about destroying New York City. He clarified some of those remarks yesterday here on Picks on Politics, but there's also this whole talk about cutting costs at 5% now, which is in total, after doing this twice, will be 15%. What's your reaction?
You know, unfortunately, the mayor at this point has a pattern of speaking in ways that are often hyperbolic and I would say dangerous. He did this with bail and crime, and we actually paid for that at the polls, and it was wrong information there. Then he did it when the migrants first started coming, and thankfully that had changed, and now it's happening again. And the mayor is correct that this is unsustainable. New York City cannot do this alone without getting assistance from the federal government in particular and the state. But the way he's going about it creates an atmosphere where people actually might get hurt, one, and will pay for it again at the polls. And it's frustrating to watch that kind of wording and language when everyone knows what can be the outcome of it.
Why do you say they're going to get hurt?
Because there's already an atmosphere where people are so angry and they're directing their anger at the migrants as opposed to directing their anger at government who's actually failing everybody. And so what we need is leadership now that's going to help redirect that anger where it rightfully belongs, because what we've seen in history, when we use the kind of language we're hearing, when we put people as scapegoats, then people get harmed. And we've been in situations before where we've seen this happen. It was also strange to hear the mayor say we've never been in a situation that we didn't know what the ending was, because it's just not true. We just came from a pandemic. We came from multiple recessions. We didn't know the ending in sight. But what we did have leadership that tried to move forward with hope and light. That seems to be a little bit different now.
So I hear what you're saying, right? Is there an alternative solution, I guess, when you look at the budget in its totality, right? And with no end in sight to the migrant crisis, does he have a point by saying the money's not coming here, so I have to do something about it?
You know, what's interesting, we've been saying this for a long time, and we've been talking about long-term New Yorkers. There are long-term New Yorkers who have been in a real crisis for a very long time, but we couldn't get the mayor to discuss revenue-raising options. We couldn't get the mayor to support a good cause eviction to prevent people from being evicted. Instead, he put folks on the rent guidelines board that raised the rent more than it's ever been raised in 1 or 2 decades. So we have been talking about crisis for long-term New Yorkers.
Okay.
And unfortunately, we couldn't get the budget response we needed. So yes, we do have to address the budget, and we do possibly have to adjust it if we don't get the help we need. The question is not what we have to do when we have to do it, it's how we do it, how we get the message
Right.
across. Because we don't want people who have none fighting people who have very little.
Yeah, it sounds like desperation now. So I'm curious what you think about the mayor talking about migrants being housed in congregate settings. Do you support that?
Well, I will tell you this, New York City, and the mayor, to his credit, is between a rock and a hard place at this point. And President Biden still has done almost nothing to assist New York City. Governor Hochul has just woken up to assist, and I'm happy about that, but she's still fighting to recognize that right to shelter is a statewide right. Without that assistance and that help, there's only bad choices. I often say we have to make the best of bad choices. We now only have bad choices to get with. And so if we're running out of room, we literally are running out of room. And if we don't have the funding and the infrastructure we need, we just simply don't have it. And so folks who are in leadership need to wake up and help New York City, because it's going to harm everyone. But I hope the mayor can have this conversation in a way that's a little more unifying and less damaging in ways that we've seen in the past.
Yeah, I mean, the mayor talked yesterday about the fact that not only will the women and children have to move into congregate settings, but some folks might have to live on tents. We're not talking about the large tent structures, tents outside. I hear what you're saying overall, right? And now there are these looking ahead to the politics, right? And I hate to say the politics of this all, but do you think that the mayor should be primaried?
I'm sorry, the last question I didn't hear.
Do you think the mayor should be primaried? Should he have an opponent?
You know, I'm not, worried about the mayor in the primary in a couple of years. I'm really worried about how we get through this as a city. We have been resilient in the past, and we can be resilient now. But hopefully the mayor will change the way that he's discussing this while pushing forward on how important it is. We warned against this when he was discussing bail and crime in a hyperbolic way, and we paid for it at the polls. If he doesn't stop, we'll pay for it again in just a few months.
All right, Public Advocate Jumaane Williams, thanks so much for your time this morning.
Thank you.